Hello everyone, welcome back to the mid-war El Alamein campaign, game 7 with my friend Jimmy. Today is going to be no retreat with the Germans attacking. So far I'm doing really good in this campaign. I'm really getting the Allies pushed back so far. They're just outside Alexandria, which gives them free air cover. For the free command cards I have used that just to help out with the Kitty Hawks that will be coming in. So let's have a little look at my force. Just one formation, a Panzer III company. My HQ is two short 7.5cm Panzer IIIs, and then I have two platoons of 4. One in each platoon is a short 7.5cm and the rest are just short 5s. In that formation as well are 4 Panzer IIs. I won't be able to make any use of Spearhead this game, but I just want something to make the formation more durable, because I can lose the HQ and a platoon of 4 and then that's game. In support I have a full Africa Rifle Platoon, so that's just 4 rifle teams and the anti-tank gun. I have got a free command point for the soft skin transport, again just trying to close in on the objectives in this mission as quickly as I can. Further support I have a Panzer II OP, 4 Marders and 4 10.5cm howitzers. Also for command cards I have Pure Luck and Brandenburgers. As I said, I wanted something to deal with the aircraft, so first turn he gets a roll for them, the Brandenburgers stop them. I have taken that mainly because those soft skin transport are going to be tempting targets for the Kitty Hawks, and if they go, the infantry go with them. Well, for each truck that gets blown up, the infantry teams die because they're soft skin, they're non-armoured. So let's have a look at the British defending force. This is the British force defending in no retreat. I did say the British were pushed back outside Alexandria. We're not quite past El Alamein yet, so there's plenty of time for the British to strike back and win this campaign. So we're just going to use territories controlled and the points to determine who wins. It's an odd number, so there's going to be a winner in this campaign, and including this, there's 3 games left. So the British have 2 formations. We have a ANZAC Rifle Company, so we have the HQ of 2 teams, and then we have 2 full platoons of infantry, each consisting of 7 rifle teams, mortar, and the mighty boys anti-tank rifle. So there's 2 platoons. We also have 3-inch mortars for the British, so that'll be good because there's 6 teams. You'll get to re-roll his hits. And also in that formation are 4 6-pounders. At this point Jimmy's given up on the 17-pounders and the 25-pounders since they're mostly pinned in the games we've played. You'd probably bring him out again for the later games. He's just lost faith in them at the moment. So the ANZAC upgrade is 3 points. It's a command card. It basically makes their rally rating better. I did try this once and I kept rolling 1, so I never had much joy using the ANZACs. The second formation is a Grant Armoured Squadron. So we have the HQ consisting of 3 Grants and 2 platoons of 3 more Grants. Also in the formation is a Crusader troop consisting of 2 6-pounder Crusaders, those are Crusader 3s, and a 2-pounder, and that's a Crusader 2. Jimmy only has 1 free point for command cards, so he's going to take lucky, and because the airfield is in range, Jimmy's going to take a pair of Kitty Hawks for support as well, which I have forgot to put in this video, but no doubt you'll get them in at least once in this game. So let's have a look at deployment. So this is British deployment. As you can also see, my objectives are placed on this side of the board as well. So the only tanks Jimmy could deploy are here, next to the mortars and a rifle platoon here, some are in the building as well. Over here by the palm trees we have the formation command with another platoon of infantry. In ambush we've got 4 6-pounders, and in reserve we got 2 units of Grants, the unit of Crusaders and the 2 Kitty Hawks. So now it's my turn to deploy. So here's my deployment. I've got the Marders and Panzer IIs on my left flank. I have my 10.5cm howitzers hidden, but with the OP spotting for them. I have a platoon of Panzer IIIs in the middle, and then everything else is on the far side with my trucks out at front with my infantry behind, and that's my formation commander and a platoon of 4 Panzer IIIs there. So I have first turn, so we are going into German movement turn 1. So I have dashed everything up. My Marders have taken cover behind this hill here. The Panzer IIs have taken cover in this courtyard. Same with these Panzer IIIs. I have cross-country dashed everything over here, and the Panzer III units all follow me. I did have a failed follow me roll, but the formation commander sorted that out. So now I'm going to fire the only thing I have, which is going to be a smoke barrage, and it's going to be on my aiming point anyway, so there's no need for me to roll, and the smoke is just going to go across at an angle to there. So that is the smoke down, covering my right thrust, and that is all I'm going to be doing this turn. So we're on to British turn 1. So British startup step for turn 1. Jimmy rolled reserves first turn, which is the first time he's ever done that. So he brought in a unit of Grants, and they have moved in from here into the field. And the rest of the British movement has seen these guys tactically move in over the field, terrain dashing over the field to cover the left flank, and lay down some shots over here when the smoke finally clears. So now we're going to be seeing if the British can shoot at anything. Turns out Jimmy couldn't see anything, so there was no British shooting, so now we're into German movement turn 2. So the Panzer IIs have just cross-country dashed to move around here. One of my Panzer IIIs has blitz moved out. I didn't have enough room to move any of the others into a good position. Over here, these Panzer IIIs have blitz moved to get a good couple of shots over here. The infantry have left their trucks and have got some protection from the forest. And my Panzer III command units have blitz moved, which they failed, and then I re-rolled using my pure luck card, and then tactically moved the push up as much as they can to get some shots on the infantry, or maybe some the Grants over here. So now we're going into my shooting. So to summarise my shooting step, that's my shooting step summarised. I didn't hit anything. I did successfully shoot and scoot this guy, but the guys I really wanted to shoot and scoot didn't do anything. I did need 6s and 5s across the board to hit stuff. I don't think I rolled higher than a 4. I did range in my artillery using my observation tank, and then I failed to hit every single thing under it, even though I ranged in first time. So this isn't looking good for me. So now we're having British turn 2. British startup step, no reserves in. Jimmy used his lucky card to see if he can re-roll one of them, and he failed. Ambush is in. They do look a bit close because they can be within 4 inches as long as they're concealed, in which case these 6-pounders are, because they're not a large gun. So now we're going into British movement. Only British movement was these Grant splits moving and then tactically moving past the minefields. You can see the dice to show where the minefields extend to, and they've positioned here to take on these Panzer IIIs. So now we're going to British shooting, and I need to weather this storm. This is going to be bad. It's going to be really bad. Okay, so now British shooting. So I think I've weathered the storm a bit better than I thought I would. I did lose 2 tanks over here to the 6-pounders. I got a bailed out tank over here. The British ranged in their artillery here, right by here, because that's as far as they could get. We did hit one of my teams, so they're pinned. Not good, I need to unpin them next turn. And I have a bailed out tank from my commander, so that's not good either. So now we're going into the German startup step for turn 3. German startup step, everything is bailed back in and unpinned apart from this tank here, who is stuck here now. So now we're going to go into German movement. This is what has happened in German movement phase. These guys remain stationary. My infantry have crossed over the river and left this guy behind, since he won't be doing what I want them to do anyway. My remaining Panzer IIIs have gone across the river behind this wall for a bit of cover. These Panzer IIIs have moved around this wall to shoot at the Grants and cover their bailed out comrade. My Marders have tactically moved onto the hill. My observation tank has also moved to here, and my Panzer IIs have moved around this left flank as well. So now we're going into German shooting. German shooting on this side has knocked out 2 Grants. I peppered the infantry here with MGs, I didn't pin them. Did the same over here with the 6-pounders, one away from pinning them, so that's a bit frustrating. Over here I bailed out another Grant, and my 10.5cm howitzers have pinned down the infantry here. So assault step, I have an assault here, which may or may not work, and I also am going to try and shoot and scoot this command team here. Assault step, these guys have failed the shoot and scoot, and over here you can see a lack of 6-pounders. This was very successful. I only took 1 hit going in, which I saved, and then both of my guys successfully killed their 6-pounder counterparts. And then the 6-pounders failed their motivation to counterattack, and they did not have enough movement to get out, so they were dead. And the formation commander here was also forced to retreat back, so he is here now. So now we're going into British turn 3. British startup step, this Grant failed to get back in his tank, even with the reroll for the formation commander. The Aussie mortars have rallied. The lone Grant over here has run away, and Jimmy didn't roll any dice for his reserves, but he did get one on automatically, so he's brought on the HQ Grants, which are over here. So now we're going into British movement, but we just moved these on, so it's going to be the rest of the British movement now. So British movement, Jimmy has successfully blitz moved the Grants here with a 5, and then he tactically moved them here so they could shoot at the Panzer IIs, and then we just checked the range, and he's out of range anyway. So that was a great bunch of movement there from you, Jimmy. So yes. That is it for the British movement. So now we're going to British shooting, where I will eventually say goodbye to my formation commander over here now, and we'll see what else the British can unleash on me. So we're going to British shooting. British shooting has resulted in bailing my HQ tanks over by here. Today's game, the theme seems to be I can't pass armour saves, but it's okay because Jimmy can't pass firepower tests. So that's why I only have 2 dead tanks, and yeah, I still have to get them back in, but yeah, it seems to be this theme at the moment. So now we're going into German turn 4 for their startup step. Everything is back in their tanks, and the infantry are unpinned, so now I'm going into my movement step. So as Jimmy just highlighted, everything he did last turn shooting wise I have just undid. So German movement. On my flank over here, I've moved this platoon into the building here for some more cover, while their anti-tank gun slowly tries to catch up, but there is foxholes left for him to get into. my Panzer IIIs have moved up just to cover over here. The HQ units beyond the palm trees have remained still. My Panzer IIIs back here have cross-country dashed and then did a follow me, so they're on the hill. The Panzer IIs also moved onto the hill, and the Marders and Panzer IIs are over here covering this flank. So now we're going to German shooting. German shooting, I managed to pin down this unit by here. I got no hits on the Grant in this shrub over here. I did need 6s though, but there we go. Over here I killed another Grant and bailed another, and my artillery has taken out one of their mortars, so they're pinned as well. So now we're going into the British startup step. Startup step, all the infantry are unpinned. The formation command tank is back in, but this guy is still bailed out. And all the British reserves are in, and as the Kitty Hawks were about to take off, they were hit by Brandenburgers, so they're not in. But the Crusaders finally are in, so basically all British forces are on, apart from the air cover, which is free anyway. So this is British turn 4, and now they're going into their movement. So here are the mighty Crusaders. They have tactically moved 14 inches. These are really fast, terribly armoured, terribly gun tanks. I suppose you could say the 6-pounder is quite good if they hit anything. The Grants have also moved in to support them. Over here, this Grant was outside of long range, and Jimmy didn't fancy doing a blitz, so he's just moved him and has lost a shot in the process, but I think he's happy with that. So now he's really eager to get into British shooting. With a combination of Grants and Crusaders, the Marders have lost 2. Over here, one of my formation tanks have finally blown up, thanks to the turret of the Grant, and it's the same over there. The turrets are killing everything, while the 75mm gunners aren't doing anything. And the mortars have pinned down my infantry in the building because my anti-tank gun is by there. So now we're going into German turn 5. German startup step, I failed to unpin the infantry, so I've moved the anti-tank gun further back to here, because I can't move them towards any enemy unit. So now we're going to my movement. German movement, I've kept my Panzer IIs stationary, Marders are stationary as well. The Panzer IIIs have moved up onto the hill to fire down at this lot here. Most of them are in range. These Panzer IIIs have crossed the minefield and done a follow me as well, so they're within range to assault, also in range to contest. Over here, these guys have just remained stationary. So now we're going into German shooting. With my shooting, I managed to kill 1 Crusader, bail a Grant, and kill a Grant over here, so not quite enough. I decided I'm not going to assault, so I pushed them outside of 4 inches so I could just shoot at the Grants anyway. Apart from that, that's everything I can do, although I still have some artillery to range in over by here. So I'll do that, and then we'll be going straight into British turn 5. British startup step, everything bailed back in. So these Grants have moved over to here to get rid of these Panzer IIIs, and the formation commander has decided to move out of the way of the artillery bombardment, and that is it. Everything else has remained stationary. So now we're going into British shooting, and also the aircraft have failed to come in. They're still dealing with those Brandenburgers by the look of it. British shooting has been very effective. I only have 1 remaining Marder, and he is bailed out. Over here, this Panzer III is down to 1 tank, and my HQ tank is gone over here. So things aren't looking great for me at the moment. So now we're going into my startup step. So my Marder is still bailed out. My infantry is still pinned down, but all my tanks haven't run yet. So I'm still in the game. So now we're going into German movement. German movement, my Panzer IIIs have moved down the hill. 2 of them have, the unit leader, so I am still contesting this objective. and my Panzer IIs have moved around the flank of the remaining Crusaders. So now we're going to my shooting step. German shooting, I've knocked all but one Crusader out who is bailed, and I've bailed out another Grant by here, and I rearranged the artillery right by here using the wrong marker, which I'll just replace, and I've pinned down his infantry, and that is all I can do. So now the British have to get 2 Panzer IIIs off these objectives now. So we're going into British turn 6. British start step, everything got back in and then pinned, and the aircraft didn't come back in again. So this Crusader has turned on the spot. These guys have remained stationary, so as the infantry, so they can ambush these tanks here. Well, just the one, so one guy will be able to get some cover fire in. And this Grant tried to move and got stuck in the river. So now we're going into British shooting. So the Crusader has killed a Panzer II, and these 3 Grants have managed to bail the Panzer III, and that was with the turret again. The mortars have ranged in first time on this building, and they've managed to kill 2 of the infantry teams in here. So almost half my infantry have just got wiped out. So now we're going to be moving into an assault, which will pretty much decide the game. So this assault was successful. I didn't kill any in my cover fire, and they bailed me out, and then I rolled a 1 for my counterattack, so he got the pull back. So at the end of the turn, I only have a bailed out tank that is contesting the objective, and that is not enough. So that is game to Jimmy and the British, and it is a major victory because Jimmy has lost 6-pounders and the Grants. 1 more and I might have knocked him down to a minor victory, so he's pushed me back. So now the fight's back on to kind of salvage this campaign. So well done, Jimmy. I hope you enjoyed this game. So now he's going to leave me to clear up this mess. So stay tuned and subscribe.